Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to my channel, The Competitive Scorer. So our today's topic of current affairs is discuss some possible ways to solve the existing disputes in the South China amicably. So let's start without wasting any time our today's topic. First of all, we will write the introduction. The South China Sea is a remarkable place on the world map. So the South China Sea is considered as an important route for trade in the world. Not just and the similar are the neighborhood countries. It's very important for all over the world, as the world's 60% of maritime trade of 46% of the world's trade pass through this route, so it has become crucial for regional countries. The public of China, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan and Vietnam are the main players or the mass players in the South China Sea. Every regional country, including the United States of America, wants control over its pursuit, its interest. In this regard, this issue has caused the attraction of the world's headlines, gaining momentum day by day. However, this burning issue can be solved in a peaceful way, such as by upholding the nations to utilize international arbitration, raising diplomatic pressure on China, and encouraging nations to utilize international arbitration. Raising diplomatic pressure on China and encouraging the maintenance to utilize international mediation. Therefore, by solving this dispute, they can peacefully perform their trade activities in the South China Sea and can even also earn fruitful economic outcomes. Then move forward, understanding the importance of the South China Sea for the world. The South China Sea is of immense strategic importance to the world. Geographically, it is crucial for economic activities such as the world's thirst trade continues from this route. So, as we already know that 40% trade is done by this route, South China Sea. So it is considered a main gateway for trade routes to and from the Asia. Moreover, the high potential biodiversity and oil reserves make it essential for regional countries. Furthermore, it hosts the shipping lanes and such as the Strait of Malacca and is a hub for international communication cables and satellite networks. According to the former president of the USA, Barack Obama in 2016, he said that the China Sea is a critical waterway for global trade and commerce. Next is decoding the dispute of South China Sea. The South China Sea is a complex dispute among the regional states. The Republic of China, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. These are the main players in the South China Sea, claiming their rights over territory, resources, and navigation freedom. The Republic of China is the most prominent player that makes claims on the basis of its mine dash lines, and these escalates the tension between China and other regional countries as the dispute has posed a significant threat to global trade, energy security, and also regional stability. Similarly, the US supports the stance of regional states on the banks of maritime, international law, and navigation freedom. Conducting the naval patrols in the South China Sea. On the other hand, China has increased its military activities in the South China Sea and built islands on it, which has raised concern for the regional states. Therefore, despite some efforts, it has become a flashpoint for the world's countries, threatening regional peace and economic stability. So there are some possible ways that how we can solve the existing disputes in the South China Sea for the regional areas. Firstly, upholding the decisions of international bodies. The claimant nations can also solve the South China Sea dispute by upholding the decision of international bodies. Staying binding with the decisions of the international bodies enhances the collaboration of regional peace among state members. So, for instance, in the South China Sea, the Arbitral Tribunal has decided the Philippines case against China and gives the ruling in favor of the Philippines, negating the China's claim of nine dash line and another activities in Philippine water. However, China denied it, and thus China should stick with the decision of Arbitral Tribunal in order to solve this dispute peacefully. Secondly, irritating the multilateral negotiation. The claimants can initiate the multilateral negotiation to resolve the South China dispute. In this regard, they can establish mutually acceptable solution to foster the peace and stability in that region. For example, in 2022, claimants countries have agreed for the declaration on the conduct of parties in the South China Sea for the promotion of regional stability, and this dissipates the country's thermalization and which can negotiate the solve any dispute for the sake of regional peace. Therefore, multilateral negotiation can facilitate the disputes. Thirdly, encouraging conflicted nations to utilize international and regional mediation. So, the conflicted nations can utilize international mediation to solve the South China Sea dispute. For this purpose, they can request the international community mediate among them. The USA on the European Union and the regional organization like ACEA and ASEAN can also settle this issue by using mediation and arbitration channels. The Article number 2 of the ASEAN Declaration, Bangkok 1967, emphasized the promotion of regional peace and stability. This highlights that arbitration and mediation can work as a catalyst for solving disputes in the South China Sea. Hence, international mediation and arbitration can assist in solving the South China dispute. Fourthly, adhering the UN Convention on the Law of Sea and clause. The nation can solve the South China Sea by adhering the UN Convention on the Law of Sea. It provides the law regarding maritime disputes and guides the nation to resolve the disputes accordingly. According to the Article 123 of the UN Convention on the Law of Sea, the state that having semi-closed sea exercise their rights and duties cooperatively. Thus, by striking with the UN Convention on the Law of Sea, states resolve the sea dispute. Fifthly, promoting joint resource development. The claims parties can promote joint resources development in the South China Sea in order to resolve the dispute, jointly attracting resumes for the disputed area. They will use the territory among the conflicted state. For example, the Malaysia and Thailand Joint Development Authority, mangroves, and these have oil and gas resources successfully. Hence, having jointly controlled of the disputed area, all parties would be a win-win situation. So, critical analysis on that topic is the dispute on South China Sea has become a nightmare for the global world. Particularly for the claimants party, it is said that it is the next flashpoint for global powers as it is the world's most significant economic route. Moreover, China has become a global part in terms of economy, and other regional states cannot compete with it. As it evident from the China-Philippine verdict, so all parties should solve the dispute through the use of track 2 diplomacy. Through this process of negotiation and diplomacy, all parties can be in a win-win situation. Hence, it would almost the maintaining the peace and stability of the Asian region and the world. And at the last, we will conclude the topic. The dispute in South China Sea has gained the momentum due to the involvement of regional states and the USA. However, through the peaceful and amicable channels such as upholding and decisions of international bodies like UNO, so this is the initiating multilateral negotiation, adhering the United Nations commencement on the level of sea, and also promoting joint resources development that disciplines the South China Sea can be resolved. So in our upcoming video, we will do the next question, which is why Pakistan is pushing out refugees. विच रिफ्यूजीज़ ये जो तालिबान है अफ़गानिस्तान से लोग यहाँ पे आए हुए हैं, ठीक है, पनाह गज़ीन है पाकिस्तान में, तो वो क्यों पाकिस्तान ने क्यों उन्हें आउट कर दिया. सो आज का टॉपिक यहाँ पे कंप्लीट होता है. इफ़ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन यू कैन आस्क इन कमेंट सेक्शन एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो सजेस्ट मी दैट व्हाट वुड बी द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक फॉर द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. टिल दैट टेक केयर. अल्लाह हाफिज़.